But I wish you and Bree always live happily ever after, and the pain that I and my love suffered should end with us. And all those who are in love with each other, no matter of gender, should live together happily." She smiled. Madhu held her hands and hugged her. After a while, she said, "Your family might be searching for you. You should go now. At least now tell me your name, or should I ask my Vadina, sister-in-law?" Madhu asked, smiling at her. "Srinija," she smiled and walked. Madhu stood looking at her until she disappeared in the crowd. Madhu was sad, thinking about the story of Srinija and worried about what will happen in her and Bree's life. Madhu came home along with all the family members. She ran into her room first and didn't find Bree in there. She asked the servant. He told that Bree left an hour ago, saying that she has some work. Madhu instantly went to the room and checked the wardrobe and took a breath of relief, seeing her clothes and bags were still in there. She called her, but her number was out of the coverage area. It was lunchtime. Madhu's family asked her to come for lunch, and they also asked her whereabouts of Bree. Madhu gave the same reason which she heard from the servant. She ate a little in the worry of Bree. Thoughts of Bree and what Srinija told her were haunting her throughout the afternoon. She was continuously trying her number, but her number was still out of the coverage area. She thought of going out in search of her, but everyone in the family will start asking hundreds of questions. Although the house was half empty by that time. Chetan and Tejashri were going to Bali for their honeymoon that night. Madhu also had planned to go to few places in India along with Bree before they leave for the USA. But that untimely, unwanted proposal ruined everything. She cried, hiding in her room, slowly uttering, "Where are you, Bree?" By the evening, Charan came home, seeing off some guests. She quickly took him aside and told him that Bree has gone out of the house hours ago and her number was out of the coverage area since she went. Charan noticed the extra concern of Madhu for Bree, and he assured her not to worry about her as he will find her. He called his friend who worked in the police control room and asked him to trace Bree's number. Within few minutes, his friend traced her number and told him that she is in a 5-star hotel's day and night pub. It wasn't surprising to Madhu. She took a breath of relief and quickly asked Charan to go along with her. Charan drove his car to that pub and asked Madhu to stay in the car. But Madhu didn't listen to him and went to that pub and found Bree drinking in the lounge. Madhu ran to her and saw she was fully drunk. Charan saw her and went to the waiter and the manager and asked them from what time Bree was there and her safety over there. The waiter told that she was there since afternoon, unharmed as it was ladies' friendly hotel. But she was continuously drinking. They also said they first thought she was staying in their hotel and served her till the evening. Now they checked with the reception and got information that she wasn't staying there. They asked her to pay the bills and she gave them her credit card and also told them the PIN. But they didn't use that yet. Charan took the card back from the manager and paid the bill from his card. "Hey, my darling wifey, you are here?" Bree smiled at Madhu, wobbling. Madhu held her hand and sat beside her, looking at her. Charan was busy talking to the waiter, so he didn't hear her. Although she looked sober, yet her eyes explained how much she was drunk. "Oh, Munchkin, I was worried so much for you. Bree, why you left the house without informing me? And your number was also not available? Why are you drunk so much? Are you okay? Where is your phone?" Madhu asked everything by holding her face and checked her phone in her bag, which had no network. Bree muttered, "I can't lose you, honey. That thought makes me sick. I will die if you go away from me." Bree wobbled. Tears filled in her eyes, resting her head on Madhu's shoulder. Tears dropped out of Madhu's eyes, hearing her out. Holding Bree in her arm, Manager, why there is no network inside your lounge? What if anybody wants to make an emergency call? How secure are your lady customers if there isn't any network here? Madhu uttered at the manager who was talking to Charan. By that time, Charan ran to her and asked, "Is she okay?" Madhu nodded, wiping her tears. The manager and waiter also followed him and assured them about the safety of Bree. But Madhu told the manager to keep a good network inside the lounge for the safety of customers. "Hey, enduku yedustunavu? What happened, dear? Why are you crying? Is she okay?" Charan sat beside her, worrying at her cry and anger. "Anta cheptanu, kani Bree chala tagindi. Ippudu intiki trigi veladam ella. I'll tell everything. First, think how to go back home as Bree is drunk," she asked him, as drinking alcohol is strictly prohibited in her house. "If anybody notices that Bree, a girl in that drunken state, is in her home, then it would be a big drama for all the relatives who gathered in there." Charan thought for a while and said, "We will go to the hotel in which we booked rooms for our relatives. Our Vizag aunt went back this afternoon. I had to rush to the airport to drop her, so I didn't check out from her room. I have a key with me. We can keep Bree there for tonight." "Fine, but what will we tell at home?" Madhu asked after getting convinced by his idea. "We will make some excuse, but let's go from here now," Charan said, getting up from the lounge. Madhu nodded. "I will also stay with her tonight," she said. Charan looked at her strangely. He swiftly asked, "Wait, what if any of our other relatives sees us in the hotel, as some of the relatives are still staying there?" "Not to worry about that. I have been observing. They all go back to the hotel in the night after dinner from our home. We will reach there before that and not come out till the morning," Madhu assured. They both asked Bree to walk with them. Bree was drunk. She got dizzy after standing. Madhu saw that and took her hand and kept on her shoulder and held it tightly and held her waist from another hand. Bree was strong. Delicate Madhu couldn't handle her. So Charan took another hand of Bree and kept that on his shoulder from the other side. And he was about to keep his hand on Bree's waist. Instantly Madhu said, "Ame nadu mumeda chai veyaku." "Don't touch her waist." Charan angrily looked at her. "Tanu vachina pudinichi chustananu. I am observing ever since she came here. Something is wrong with you whenever I come in the picture," he said, staring at her. Madhu looked down awkwardly. "Just keep her hand on your shoulder and hold her hand. I'll handle her waist," she mumbled. They both carefully took Bree inside the car and reached the hotel. Charan first confirmed from the reception that none of their relatives were present in the hotel. Then they both walked Bree into the hotel room. Charan asked what he should tell at home, and Madhu came with an idea. She told him to get their laptops and night clothes from home and tell everyone that they are working on a college project and need silence for that. Charan agreed and did the same and got the stuffs. Madhu asked him to go out of the room for a while. Charan waited in the lobby, imagining numerous possibilities for Madhu's behavior and Bree's heavy booze. His head started aching, thinking all that. Madhu woke up Bree, changed her clothes in her subconscious state and gave her a glass of juice. Bree slept after that. She mumbled all the time that she doesn't want to lose Madhu. Madhu felt miserable for everything that was happening in their lives. She thought why the society doesn't accept their love, and if it was wrong, then why God made them like that. After a while, she thought about Charan and ordered food from room service and changed her clothes as well and called Charan inside her room. He saw Bree asleep on the bed like a baby and the worried face of Madhu. "What is going on? My head is banging due to your acts," he asked. "Did you eat food in the afternoon? You are running here and there, picking and dropping all the guests. And since evening, you are with me. You must be hungry. That's why your head is aching. Let's eat food first. I will tell you everything." Saying, Madhu called the room service. He nodded as she was right. They both ate the food and sat at the balcony of the room. Can you tell me now? Charan asked after the silence of few minutes. Okay, I want you to calm down hearing whatever I say. Don't panic, don't shout, and don't get annoyed, Madhu said, biting her fist in a tensed tone after taking a long breath. You are freaking me out now. Charan got worried. Oh, this is what I don't want. Don't react now itself. Let me gather courage first, Madhu uttered softly. Okay, he said, calming down. Bree is not my friend, she said. Then he asked, Charan, you need to calm down, okay? She said, easing, making hand gestures. I am calm, Charan said, holding his head. Okay, here I go. Bree is my wife, she said with pauses, taking a long breath. What? Charan shouted and got up from the chair. Charan jumped up from the chair, shocked by Madhu's truth. Charan, please relax and listen to me first. Madhu calmed him. He sat on the chair, staring at her. It was not planned. It happened just like that. You know that I always hated marriage, but I married her. Madhu paused to check the reaction of Charan. He nodded, shrugging his shoulder. I am not getting what you are saying. What is the connection? He said, looking at her. Madhu took a long breath and said, I'll tell you. Me and Bree are gay, she said instantly after the pause, closing her eyes tightly. What? Charan uttered. Charan, just listen to me first. Don't ask anything in the middle. I will tell you everything. Here I go. I met Bree on the very first day of the college, and there she told the entire story to him about how their friendship turned into love and how they got married. Later, to conclude, she said, Yes, I have always hated marriage, cause I hated being married to a man. Madhu rested, looking at his reaction. Charan got annoyed after hearing all that. So you married a girl? Thinking that you are gay? You idiot! You have never been with any man. How do you know that you are gay without being with any man? It is all just a phase. Since you were living away from home and all alone, our heart seeks a companion when we are alone. And you found that companionship in Bree, and you got married to her just within 2-3 days of falling in love with her? He uttered, nodding his head. Madhu got angry. She stood up, tying her hand. Phase? What phase? You know, when all my friends chatted about guys in my teenage years, I hated to be in that chat. When the girls spoke about having a crush on some celebrity guys, I hated that thought. I never had any crush on any boy in my class or any celebrity hero or any man ever since my teenage till completion of college. And you know one strange thing which I never told anybody till now? I never told this to myself either. When you spoke about girls in school and college, I actually liked that. I heard you when you praised the girls' beauty and elegance. I always ignored that strange me. Back in America, Neil proposed to me, an extremely good-looking and nice guy that every girl would wish to be hooked with him. But I had zero feelings for him. I never wished to be with any man. You know why all this? Because I am gay, uttered softly. And Brianna, she was just a friend. She dated boys. Neither I nor she ever thought about all this or planned all this. It all happened, and the feelings we developed for each other is everlasting. It is not any phase of companionship. It is love. We are in love with each other, and we both are devoted to each other. And love is not a phase, bro. What I feel for her, I never felt for anybody nor ever feel for anybody, as it is true love. And I know it is the same with her. That is why she is. Pointing her hand to Bree, she stopped. Madhu said, tears filled in her eyes. Charan stood still hearing her out. Madhu continued, yesterday when you spoke to her about that stupid marriage proposal, she got upset. So she did all this. In the fear of losing me, Madhu said, with pauses, gesturing her hands, looking down. Charan sat on the chair, processing all that she said, and Madhu also sat on the chair, waiting for his reaction. So, you don't want to marry that guy? He asked in confusion. Madhu stared at him, squeezing her eyes on his lame question. Seriously? Madhu asked in expression. No, I mean, it happens like that only, right? A man and a woman get married, Charan said. Madhu smirked, hearing his age-old assumption, and her mind flashed the question that Srinija told. If I ask you to marry that boy, would you marry him? She asked him. What rubbish! How could I marry him? He said. This is the same way I feel, brother. I cannot feel anything for a man. If I marry a man, then it would ruin lives. I'll never be happy. I'll never love him. I'll be like a robot. Just follow the rules of marriage and keep him happy and take care of his home, children, and his needs. This is what happens with millions of women in India and around the world. They are never happy in their married life, just because they were never given a choice. And it is all because of this age-old logic that a man and a woman should get married. It is not like we are doing it all purposely. No, we are made like this, Madhu justified. What made it like this? No one in our family is gay, Charan argued. It is not hereditary. It is hormonal, and there are 30 to 35% of women out there around the world who are gay. 70 to 80% of women are bisexual, and large people of them end up in straight relationships. They hardly come out in the fear of society and thinking of people like you, Madhu vindicated with figures. Where did you get these figures now? Charan smirked in sarcasm. I researched on the internet when I started developing feelings for Bree, Madhu uttered softly. Charan sat on the chair, rubbing his face with both hands. There was a silence for a while. Charan processed everything she said. I can't believe my sister is a gay. Are you sure about all this? Charan asked, breaking the silence. Madhu looked at him with a sarcastic smile. Charan looked down. That guy was nice, good-looking, well-cultured, financially well-settled in the USA. Like, you can fulfill your dreams after marriage. Our families know each other, and marriage is like the bond between two families, not two people, he mumbled to give it a try. Madhu smiled, knowing his convincing intentions. Bree is all that you are saying. She is good-looking, rich, well-cultured. Of course, she drinks sometimes, which is normal in their culture. And I almost neglect that compared to her depth of love for me. Many men do that in India. I know you too do that, and women ignore that. Bree is loving and caring. I know her like an open book. The only thing is, she is not a man. She is a woman. And honestly, her money, looks, gender doesn't matter to me because I didn't love her considering all these things, like in a family arranged marriage. I know families also do this only to see their children, especially daughters, happy. That is what the bottom line is. I am happy with her, Madhu said, looking straight into his eyes. Charan looked at her and processed everything and said, What should I tell at home? I don't know. Honestly, I wanted to come out only to you ever since I fell in love with Bree. and I didn't want it to be like this. But this proposal changed everything. I am not ready to come out to anybody in the family, Madhu said, looking down. Saying, Charan looked at Bree, who was sleeping like a baby on the bed. Madhu looked at him and Bree. Ammayi super ga undi. Manchi choice. Girl is a beautiful, good choice. Even I started liking her. Charan blushed in embarrassment after realizing Bree's relationship with his sister. Chinna pudinninchi naku nachinde niku nachutundi. Since childhood, you like everything I like, Madhu said in satire, mocking at him, and blushed. They both laughed finally after a long discussion and arguments. So what next? Madhu asked after a while. Honestly, I don't know what next. Even I need time to think over it, Charan said.